What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the MMA Huddle. Myself, Will, John's with me as always, and we're here for another fight card. Obviously, we're here for UFC Ottawa, and actually, it's a pretty solid card coming from Canada. It's a closely matched fight card. I think the betting lines kind of reflect that. So yeah, we're going to get into talking that in a little bit. Like, comment, subscribe. We've made a great wee run this year with subscribers and views and everything else, so we appreciate it. Just keep on supporting us if you can. Hit that subscribe button if you don't already. If you don't, tell a friend. Get in touch with us with comments if you agree with our picks, if you don't, or what's your bets, whatever it is. Just get in touch, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So, John, coming off, where were we last week? We weren't in Russia. Where were we last week?
Last week's card? Where were we? Mr. Mike Perry.
Oh, yeah, Florida.
With Mr. Snake Hips.
Yeah, I don't know how... I actually don't know how I managed to forget about that fight last week. I just kind of mind fought there because I was pretty heavy on Jack Hermansson, and that's a massive win for him.
Huge win.
And
I want him to have Weidman next.
Yeah, well, that's he's put himself right into that probably top 5 of that division. So yeah. What a 2018 it's been for Jack ever since he kind of beat Mearshot last year. Yeah.
And just turned it around. He did. He kind of just everything started to click for him.
Yeah, the guy's dangerous. The guy's so good and he's improving. I think there's some spots he's definitely capable of getting beat, but great performance. Actually, really enjoyed last week's card. Yeah. Perry and Oliveira was good. Glover and Kutalaba I thought was good. Glover's, you can see that he's like, the shot resistance is definitely going though.
Yeah, but he's starting to be more tactful in the way he's approaching the matchups. Like he knows on the ground he's a gangster, and he just knows that if I get it down, I've got a high percentage of getting this. I just need to get it down, and he'll have a tough time against guys who can restrict him. Like Rakitic would be nice, like something like that. Glover and Rakitic neck with someone like that'd be good.
Yeah, well, he's going to start getting these young kids coming up because they're going to be looking to give them bigger names.
Everyone's young compared to him.
Yeah. Sandhagen Lineker was...
It was all right. It was so-so.
Such a good fight. I really enjoyed it. I was pretty confident, actually, that John Lineker was going to win that fight. And I think he had a kind of claim to it. I actually scored it for Sandhagen. Not being biased because I had money on Lineker, but I thought Sandhagen just did enough. But there was people on Twitter that Mike Biggie Rhodes, a fighter himself, who saw it differently, and he says that it was kind of all fluff that Sandhagen threw in the first round, and Lineker landed the more bigger, harder shot. It was close. It was a close fight. I had no complaints on my side, and Sandhagen's well and truly put himself in that top 50 in that division. Roosevelt Roberts, 15 minutes. That's a big 15 minutes from UFC Octagon experience. I don't think his opponent was overly great, but seen some things with Roberts there that you can be confident that he's going to get better going forward. Ben Saunders just doesn't need to be fighting in the UFC anymore. To be fair, he looked good the first 5 minutes, but then he got blasted out. Arlovsky Sakai, not really one to talk about. Esparza, I think Arlovsky actually kind of won that fight, if I'm being honest with you as well, but yeah, whatever. Esparza, I thought looked good. I thought she faced a tough opponent. Gilbert Burns just keeps on rolling. Jim Miller's just the man.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a solid fight. I really enjoyed it. I went to bed. I think what fight did I go to bed? Just after Sandhagen and Lineker, because I had to be up early on the Sunday, and it was actually a nice last 4 fights to watch. I didn't really watch the co-main event. I saw the finish, but yeah, we're going to get into this card. And we're going to be back later on this week. We'll do it on Sunday this week. I've kind of had a couple of problems my side. I didn't decide. My cord on my laptop decided to go and snap last night, coming back from watching the Avengers. And so I had to get that fixed today. But we'll be back on Sunday for UFC 237 actually next.
Pay-per-view next, pay-per-view, yeah.
Aldo and Volkanovski and Namajunas and Andrade, so a good fight card there. I went and lost the fight card, but they were there. Iaquinta, Cowboy. Okay, this fight's at the bottom here, announced bouts, that's what I'm going off. It's probably going to be Well, I don't.
Mid prelims. It'll be mid prelims or something probably.
There's no Fight Pass prelims this week. It says. I don't think.
Mm.
Must be. No, there must be.
No, I can't see it. No.
Maybe
But then again, it must be something to do with ESPN Plus trying to push it or something.
Yeah, maybe the card hasn't been finalised and they just haven't worked out the order yet. But I'm going to start with this fight. This is a newcomer that's been brought in late here, and it's Nordine Taleb against Kyle Prepolec. I'll let you lead the way in this one, John.
Yeah, it's short notice fight for Kyle. You know, you're going to take advantage. Local lad, Canadian guy, stepping in. I think he's got a tough one here against Nordine because I think Kyle's a bit of a flat-footed, very low output guy. He seems to be like a counter striker. He's southpaw, likes to throw a right counter hook quite a lot. He relies on that to land. But there's not a lot that he does in there that I found that's overwhelming. Like the Cody Fister fight that he had outside in the regional scenes, Cody Fister just looked like he was there to get some money. He looked pretty diabolical. But for me, I think Nordine's just going to be a way better polished striker than Kyle. I think he'll throw too many options and too much danger. Danny Roberts is a southpaw as well, isn't he? And look how that went. So I think Nordine, you know, if it was against Zaire, I was actually probably going to go Zaire with him to finish Nordine. But now I'm switching over and going over to Nordine Taleb. I think the guy's going to get potential here over Kyle. So I just think that short notice, bright lights, he's flat-footed for me, way too flat-footed in parts. Maybe that's the land at power right hook, which isn't that powerful. But I'm on Nordine, mate.
Yeah, I'm gonna side with you, Nordine Taleb here. When I heard about Kyle Prepolec getting the opportunity, it's someone that actually I've heard a little bit about through, I think James Lynch has been obviously James Lynch does interviews with everybody, so you always kind of find out, especially being the Canadian fighters coming up, he's always on the ball with them guys. When I looked into him, I actually think he's a pretty good fighter. I actually think he's well-rounded with his striking, with his submissions, wrestling, so on. The one thing that really jumped out at me is he's far too passive, and he waits far too much, and he waits for his opponent to strike for him to counter strike. He never really leads the dance, and he's always countering off his opponent who is leading the way pretty much. That I don't think that's going to that's going to really be great in the UFC. I think he has to lead and try and maybe catch Nordine kind of coming in or whatever. I think he's going to sit back far too much here, in my opinion, and he's just going to allow Nordine to kind of touch him up a little bit. I just think that it's the one thing that just jumped out when I was watching. I thought, you're pretty good, like I said at the start there. I think you got a really good, a good bleed high kick that I really liked. Counter striking, but he needs his opponent to really bring the fight to him for him to then come and get into the fight himself. So he lacks aggressiveness, very passive. I think Nordine, he's got a really good lead head kick, but just too passive, kind of lacks aggressiveness. And I don't think that's going to win you fights in the UFC, especially against more experienced guys like Taleb. So I've got Nordine. You said via stoppage. I don't think that's a bad bet, actually. A bad way can he win the fight, but I'll go via decision in that one there. Moving on, bantamweight division. Mitch Gagnon against Cole Smith, who makes his UFC debut. When I was watching Cole Smith, I wasn't overly impressed. I watched 3 of his fights as a pro, and I watched 2 of his fights as an amateur. There were a couple of losses in the amateur ones, which I really wanted to watch because, like, he is 6-0. He's 30 years old, so that's pretty old for a guy that's not really got that much experience. I think he trains out of Thailand as well, a grinder. Not very good striking. He is going to look to grapple in this fight, put him against the cage, get him to the ground, and I think he's got opportunities to do that if he can survive early, because I think Gagnon, like I say, Mitch Gagnon, we've not seen this guy in a couple of years. It seems to be a big thing with a lot of the fighters in recent cards, like coming back after 2 years off and so on and so on. And he's another one here, and he's coming off back-to-back losses against Henenbrow and Matthew Lopez. Not bad losses per se, but started to fight kind of well in them ones there, but then, as per usual, kind of fades out. Really, really good submission grappler. Really good at taking the back. If he takes your back, he will find a rear naked choke. He's really good. He's got, like I say, most of these wins in the UFC are via stoppage as well. So, yeah, I'm not, from what I see at Kyle Smith, I don't think he's overly that great. I think he has got a path to victory if Gagnon doesn't catch him early, and maybe it goes into 2 and 3, and he could start to grind on him, establish top position, and win the fight through that. I'm actually going to go Mitch Gagnon with a first round submission. I think he might just catch him here, but he could also be very rusty and look completely out of his element coming back after a couple of years off. But I'll go with Mitch Gagnon via submission.
I am going the same with you, bro. I think he's going to get a guillotine. I think Cole Smith, from what I can see, when his transitions actually isn't. He's actually got a good transition from the strike into the integrating into the takedowns. He's not bad at doing that. Actually, he's got a good level change while he goes into there. But Mitch, like you said, man, he is quick at snapping on like those threatening kind of chokes from the takedowns. And I think, like you said, I think Smith, if he wants to get this to the ground and get on top, he needs to initiate a kind of upper body grappling. You know, he wants to close the gap and get like an underhook, overhook, and bring it down that way. I don't think a smart move would be, say, going a double leg or a single leg, because Mitch is very dangerous going for that neck. And Mitch is quite short for that. He's quite stocky, so he's going to be difficult anyway to get down like that in that manner. So I'm going to go with Mitch as well, submission, man, because I just think Cole, again, I'm with you, nothing overly special. He's not going to set the world alight in the UFC. He will never break top 15, just to put it out there. He could be an 0-3 guy or something, but I just think this is an ideal fight for Mitch Gagnon to come back to after just having a stop-start kind of career over the past, 4 years or something. So, I'm going to go submission for Mitch.
Yeah. Moving on, heavyweight division, we've got Arjan Bhullar against Juan Adams. Take it away.
Well, I love Mr. Adams. He is he's an enjoyable character, and plus he hates the wife beater. So I missed that. Bhullar, we know what he's going to do. He's going to throw strikes, shoot for a takedown, get on top, and try to win the fight from there. Adams is a big boy, man. That dude is massive. He cuts down to 265. He is a big dude. He hits heavy. He hits hard. Man, this is going to be a good fight, because it's going to test his skill on Bhullar to see how does he handle someone like Adams, because Adams is probably going to have like a 40-pound difference over him. So it's quite a bit of difference, bit of a weight difference. We'll get to see Adams grappling kind of defense, see how he defends takedown, see how good he is with that against a legit grappler in Bhullar. But man, I'm interested to see how that kind of battle goes. But man, I'm going for Adams on this one, man. I think Adams is going to hit Bhullar a few times, and I think Bullar's just not going to like it. He's going to tough it out. I think he might get the fight down to the ground in the first, maybe once or twice, maybe. But overall, I just see Adams just landing, a couple of shots. I think if Adams is smart, he'll throw some uppercuts in his combinations to kind of get Bhullar away from wanting to initiate for the takedown. But I think Bullar's going to charge in for a couple of strikes, get the grappling going, try to tire Adams out. But I'm going to go Adams, man. I think it could stop Bhullar, man. It just hits so goddamn hard.
Yeah, I'm kind of struggling with this one a little bit. I was initially on Juan Adams before I really started looking into it, but then I went back and watched the De La Rocha fight, and not really overly impressed in that fight, if I'm being honest with you. I think he's still super green. Obviously, he was only 4-0 at the time, sitting with a 5-0 record now. So he's still got a lot of learning to do. Still a young kind of kid, 26, 27, maybe 28 in that region. So for a heavyweight, that's super, super young. Obviously going to be the bigger guy here. Bhullar he was a Commonwealth gold medalist. Juan Adams, I think he's a former D1 wrestler. So I don't know what regarding levels of wrestling, but I would put D1 ahead of kind of Commonwealth gold, considering I don't think the big nations are really in the kind of the Americas or the Russias or Kazakhstan, whatever the wrestlers come from. So this is interesting to me here. I think Juan Adams has obviously got the clear advantage on the feet. He throws a lot more per minute. He lands a lot more per minute. He's more accurate. I think his defense lacks. I think he can be hit with a shot. I think he relies on his chin a little bit. He got taken down. He took down De La Rocha. Arjan Singh Bhullar, I think he's obviously going to want to initially just strike to get into a clinch position, I think, and try and put him against the cage. I think that's the way he's going to win the fight. But this is not a confident pick. I'm actually going to side with Arjan Bhullar, actually. I think I'm going to. That's greasy as anything saying that. I want to believe a little bit more in Juan Adams, but I just don't see it yet. And I'm thinking to myself here, I was like, is Juan Adams is going to be Arjan Bhullar? I'm like, is he maybe better than that? I don't know. I'll go with Arjan Bhullar. Not super confident, but I'll pick him in this spot here to win, maybe via a very, very, very smelly decision. Because I think that's what it could be if either guy doesn't kind of finish. Especially, I think Adams has got the more opportunity to finish, but Bhullar, I think, is going to want to make it nasty, grimy. It's just not going to be a good fight. So I'll go on Bhullar via pretty sloppy decision. Moving on, featherweight division, Kyle Nelson against Matt Sayles. This one, I actually really like Matt Sayles. I don't see... I just when I watch Kyle Nelson, I don't know whether it's just me that sees I don't see it. I don't really see him being a UFC caliber fighter. And that's just some... I know his debut in the UFC was a really tough short notice fight against Diego Ferreira.
He's a weight class above as well.
Yeah, weight class above. So it was a tough beat in your first matchup in the UFC, especially with that, because that guy, like Diego Ferreira, is like at the minute he's just flying through guys.
He's going to for him. Yeah, it's weird.
Looks great. He is going to be the bigger guy over Sayles here. Bigger reach, switch stance fighter. So I'm interested to see what he's like at featherweight instead of lightweight. Maybe this is the division where he will show us more than what he's got. I thought Matt Sayles started very slow against Shimon Morais. That's a very tough fight for your first UFC bout, by the way.
Yeah, both of them had rough debuts, let's be honest.
They did. And we saw Morais with anybody, it's just awkward in any capacity. But he's one of those fighters that comes on really well as the fight goes on. So, and he showed it in that fight, but maybe that was some of Morais gassing a little bit and giving the opportunity. Sayles comes from a really good camp, obviously Alliance. He's got, I think, Dominic Cruz is his kind of big mentor. And I kind of like what I see from him. I'm just wondering what Kyle Nelson's kind of game plan is going to be. Maybe to try and grapple. I don't know. I just don't really see much in him as a UFC kind of caliber fighter. And like Matt Sayles is the same. He's like really kind of youngish in the sport still. But I just think he's got enough to kind of win over 15 minutes here. Land more, just be the better fighter. So I'll go Matt Sayles via decision.
Nice. I'm with you. I'm going Matt Sayles. Well, I like the output that he has.
Yeah.
That dude's got a great gas tank. And one thing that can do people cause real problems is your work rate. If you can just put that more, you can pump out more action. You can be more with angles on your footwork, throw more strikes. It's tiring because as that second and third round come along, you're suddenly having to think more. You're having to stay on your toes, whereas you were alert in the third round. It's a bit harder. Matt Sayles just doesn't look like it bothers him being in the third, as it doesn't. He looks just in like third, fourth gear. He just keeps a good pace on him. I think Kyle will want to obviously try to take it down because I don't think he'll be able to really kind of be able to cope well with the footwork and the movement that Sayles is going to throw at him and the kind of output that he's going to throw at him. I think he'll definitely want to grapple. But I'm going Sayles definitely here. I think a really powerful decision win. Like I mean, it could probably absolutely go maybe a 30-26. I'm with you about Kyle with the level where he's at. Maybe this is probably a more suitable fight to see if he is of the UFC caliber potential. But I think for me, Matt Sayles, he's a future, probably sticking around the 10 to 15 rankings in the future. I think he could probably mix it up around there. I'm not saying I don't know. I'm not seeing enough yet to say any further than that. But I can see him doing pretty good stuff.
Yeah, it's a good. I don't know. There's something about Sayles I really like. I just think he can put it all together. And like you say, that's something I forgot to mention was the output. He had a really good output against someone that's tough. Because with Moras, you have to watch what you're doing because he's got big power and he can hurt you. And he's going to fight close with a lot of guys. But yeah, I'm with you in that one. Aiemann Zahabi against Vince Morales is up next.
Well, people, if you don't remember Zahabi's last bout, he got starched with a spinning elbow by Ramos. Just go back to watch that because it was just crazy. Delicious elbow. But he's taken a long time off, which probably was a lot of his brother as well, advising him on what to do next, maybe have a break, let your brain fully recover and come back. But let's not take anything away from that loss. The fight itself, he was doing really well in the fight. He's technically a very good fighter. He's got good combinations of striking. He's got good interaction into the wrestling and his grappling. He's at TriStar, been there for an exceptionally long time. He's got the knowledge base. Vince Morales, I think this is an ideal fight for Zahabi, in my opinion. I just think Morales, good combinations. He has got good strikes. He does land well. I just don't know if the UFC is where he should be. Obviously, he lost on the Dana White show, won a bout in Bellator, then got a call up to go in the UFC against Yadong. But I still don't know if he's there yet, in my opinion, Vince. I don't know if he's of that caliber, but I just think Zahabi's got a bit more about him. I think he's got a smarter fight IQ. I think with that break, I trust his chin more. But yeah, I'm going to go with Zahabi here, mate. I think Zahabi can get a nice decision win, just a good output, just land more on Morales. I think that Morales will land in the first round. It'll be a close first round, but I'm going to go a good solid decision for Zahabi here.
Yeah, this is one of the first ones I looked at, and initially I thought, right, I want to look into his opponent here, Morales, and try and kind of get myself back up to date with the way he is as a fighter. I thought, like, Zahabi might be in the kind of fade list here, but I think this fight's going to be a perfect fight for him. Actually, I think they're going to game plan this to perfection and win a decision here. But I've not been impressed with what I've seen from Zahabi. I thought he fought a valiant fight against Ricardo Ramos, but he got taken down a couple of times. Got taken down in his first fight against Reginaldo Vieira, where Vieira, not great, but he's super tough, super aggressive, and he kind of showed in that fight. And he was kind of lucky maybe to come out with that win in that one. Very, very close fight. But for me, this one just kind of, to me, shouts out this is going to be one of these like pinpoint game plans that for us, Zahabi's going to have for his little brother. And they're going to kind of execute it very, very, very closely, I think, and get the win. But when I look at Morales, he went to China, I think it was, in his debut against Song Yadong. I thought he fought all right. There was a lot of output there. He showed that he can get taken down in that one there. But I was looking at, is he going to fade? Am I going to fade Zahabi? And I thought, no, I don't think this is the spot to really do that. So I'll go Aiemann Zahabi to kind of win via a kind of a really good game plan from Big Brother here and win it. But I'm not like confident in the pick, if I'm being honest with you. So moving on, Macy Chiasson against Sarah Moras. This to me screams Macy Chiasson just going to absolutely tear through Sarah Moras here. There's nothing really I need to kind of get into the breakdown. I mean those shots that she landed on Gina Mazzani were thunderous.
Yeah.
Very big shots. And she looks like a girl that can put it all together. I'm still to be, not that I am kind of a little bit impressed with what I'm seeing, but there's some people calling that she's going to be a future champion. She's going to be this. Just jumping on the bandwagon far too soon. Yeah, I just want to see a little bit more from, because like the girl she's facing, Mazzani and Moras, are not good fighters. Like Sarah Moras gets hit a lot. The one thing I always say is, like, just watch you don't leave an arm or something in there, because she's got nasty jiu-jitsu. She flops to her back. She flops to her back against Macy here. She's going to get alive with ground and pound. I'm going to go Macy Chiasson. I think she finished it in the first 2 rounds. Too long, too powerful, too aggressive, and I don't think there's any. I think there is quitting Sarah Moras, and I think that Macy Chiasson will show that. So I'll go Macy via early second round TKO.
I'm going Macy heavy too. I'm quite heavy on her, but I'm just hoping that she isn't too aggressive where Sarah can shoot in for the takedown, Because if I'm Sarah, that's my go-to. Get the fight to the ground. Because let's be honest, she is legit on the ground. She has got some relentless submission attacks, ridiculously flexible. So it makes her really dangerous because she can get all sorts of angles and movements on. So she can't be written off on that aspect because we've seen it before where fighters can just fall down, slap an armbar on, and away you go. That's it. And she is very good at that. But if I'm Macy, I wouldn't even go and initiate the ground. I would stay standing. I would stand her up. I'd say, let's get going. I would not be uber aggressive. I'd just pick Sarah's face off of 1-2s, and you are laughing all day long. She will stop her with just like simple 1-2 combos, and pin her against the cage and just let hell come on her. But I'm going with you, bro. I'm going within 2. I think so Sarah, she gets hit too much. She's not really a technical fighter on the feet. Man, Macy should win this one. But again, future champ, let's slow down, wait till she gets some upper mid-level girls, that can cause her problems. But yeah, definitely got to go with Macy on this one as well, bro.
Moving on, I think we're on to the main card now. We are.
Yeah.
Debuting Marc-Andre Berriault against Andrew Sanchez. How do you see it going?
Well, Marc-Andre making his debut, won the 205 and 185 belts on the regional scene promotion as TKO, I think it was. He never really did 205. He weighed in at 201. So that shows that he's not a big middleweight because that's not cutting down to make weight for 205. He just probably walks around 200-pound mark. So he's not got a big cut to make the middleweight, which is not a bad thing. It means he's not draining himself too much. Sanchez looks a bit bigger than that. And I've got to worry about Marc-Andre. We spoke off air about this, Will, but he is a guy that will take an absolute cracking. Like, he will get hit a few times early on. It's almost like he does it to try and bait the guy in to then he fights back. You cannot do this in the UFC. You cannot get away with what he's done. Watch some of his fights. He just takes hits unnecessarily. And if someone gets through it, you're not going to get away with that in the UFC. I think Andrew Sanchez, if I'm Andrew Sanchez, stand, throw some shots, get a takedown if I can, and get on top. That's the goal. Andrew Sanchez, though, I think he's... In the Perez fight, he showed some good things and some bad things. I think one thing for Sanchez is maybe a little bit more output on the striking. What he needs to stop doing as well, when he's closing a fighter down, he follows them. So he shadows the opponent. He needs to cut off. He needs to learn to cut the ring off, as it's called. So when someone, instead of just going foot where their foot goes, replacing their foot with your foot, cut the angle to close the distance down. Because I found that Sanchez, what he was doing was he shadows the opponents, and then they're just able to hit a shot, and then get away. I think if he cuts the ring off a bit more, he'll get a bit more success. But I'm going Sanchez. I'll give Marc-Andre a bit of a benefit of doubt. He can take a couple of hits. I'll say he's going to get a busted lip or two, but I'll go Sanchez decision. But I think Marc-Andre better change his style quick if he wants to get any further in the UFC.
Yeah. Like I say, I knew a little bit about him before he came into the UFC. I randomly put on UFC Fight Pass, and that was live, and I put it on. I think he won his middleweight title there in that one, and not super impressive, to be honest with you. I think that he's solid. I think he's a nasty hitter in the clinch. I have to be super careful of that. He's got some heavy leg kicks. But there's nothing that really jumps out to me as having like that kind of game-changing ability that's going to be the game-changing kind of aspect of his game that's going to make him big in the UFC. I don't see it. And then you've got someone like Sanchez who's been around the block, comes from a great camp at TriStar. I thought he rebounded really well after that loss to, was it Anthony Smith? I want to say, where he was knocked out late. Ryan James, actually, that was it. I thought he did very well against Marcus Perez. Perez is a tough guy to face.
Awkward dude, isn't
he? Yeah, he's so awkward. Did the right things there. I think he landed takedowns, kind of controlled him a little bit more. And it put together a good game plan. It's a typical for us, Zahabi type of thing. In fact, he outstruck him. He never. I'm thinking about the Ryan James fight where he got takedowns and was
gassed
landing
himself out, didn't he?
Gassed himself out. Yeah, that's why I think he's going to come in here, fight a smart game plan, and don't gas himself out, because you've seen when he gasses himself out, he's wide open.
Oh, he falls apart.
Yeah, and we've seen just by looking at some of the fights that Marc-Andre has been in, he's went 25 minutes. That's something that Andrew Sanchez can't say he's done recently. So, yeah, I think what I like about Sanchez, he doesn't rush anything. He takes his time. I say, well, I'm kind of going off the last fight there, because he did rush a little bit in that James fight, and he got made to kind of pay later on in that one. I think he's going to do enough here just to win a decision. Just be careful of the power shots. I think he's going to clinch up. I think he's going to get takedowns. I see Berriault maybe getting back to his feet. But I'll go a finish. I'll pick a late finish, a third round finish for Andrew Sanchez, and that one there. Moving on, Walt Harris against Sergey Spivak. Lead us. Is it me or you? Me.
You, bro. Yeah, because the last end, yeah.
Totally forgot there. I'll start with the newcomer. Kind of not impressed again from what I've seen. 9-0 guy, young guy as well. I think he's probably
23 or something like that.
Yeah, he's a young kid. He's probably maybe well suited for maybe 205 eventually. Strong, very, very kind of physical guy, and he wants to take down. His striking's kind of piss poor. It's not good at all. Gets single legs. I think he's got some trips in there. You can see the way he kind of moves. That's what he kind of looks for is trips. I think his positioning on the floor is actually pretty good, and he can attack kind of some submissions from down there. I think his biggest weapon that he's got is his ground and pound. From what I've seen, where he just kind of rains it down and he hits a lot of ground and pound. On feet, regarding a couple of high kicks, maybe is all I've really seen him. He kind of wants to get into the clinch where he can maybe beat you up a little bit and then try and get those trips like I was talking about. Maybe land some knees to the inside, but I don't know. I just I think he's got a lot of bad movement. I think his output's bad. I think he doesn't check anything regarding kicks and so on. I just think that his striking's going to seriously let him down in the UFC. I think that most heavyweights will stop the takedowns, and then on the feet, you can't really not have any striking in the heavyweight division with some of the guys the way they crack. So, look, I think he'll need to get it to the clinch and get it to the ground if he wants to win. Regarding Walt Harris, I think that it's another guy who not trust. He's hard to trust a little bit. But this should be a fight that he wins, in my opinion. I think he's the better athlete. He's quicker, he's stronger, he hits harder. But he kind of loses more fights in the UFC than he wins. So that's something that kind of scares me a little bit. He went to decision with Arlovsky, a little bit too close for comfort. Yeah, Golden Gloves champion as well as an amateur boxer.
Yeah, twice, yeah.
Got some big power. Like I say, he's got a lot of good attributes. We don't really kind of see them all that too much. And like you see, you can't really trust him because he was beating Mark Godby and then he got himself disqualified. And I think he should win comfortably. I'm going to pick him to win via knockout. But like I say, it's when I seen the line, when I see the line now, he's like minus 160. I'm thinking he should be a good bet, but it's like you can't trust a guy like that. So I'll go Walt Harris via TKO in the second.
Yeah, I'm going Walt Harris too, bro.
Yeah.
I think he'll knock out Sergey. I think that his hands just box this kid up, box him up, man. That jab, just pop that jab off his face because the kid's got no head movement. He's like you said, he's definitely probably going to be a 205er. He's kind of like Krylov. Reminds me a little bit of Krylov, where he's just going on the regional scene at a heavyweight because he can't be bothered to make the drop to 205. This is the first time in a while he's fought a guy sub the age of 40. So that's something new for Sergey because most of the guys fought are hitting a 40 plus. And let's be honest, I think they were brought in for Sergey to win against. They weren't exactly the highest caliber or the most in shape fighters you've ever seen. Let's put it that way. Questionable opponents, which, and he fought on one promotion. So I'm not saying this promotion picked the fights for him to give him the wins to make him look good, but man, I just don't know what the UFC has seen in this kid. I just don't know. I'd like to see that kid fight on, I don't know, like somewhere like ACA or KSW, one of these more well-known promotions with higher opponents to see how he does there, rather than fight the kind of guys he has fought, because I've not really seen anything out of him that's been that impressive. Even when he gets ground and pound, it's more case the guys are just thinking, I've done my job, I made it look like a fight, just hurry up and finish the fight, you know what I mean? So I'm Walt Harris, mate, all day. Jab, 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 pop that right hand. Sergey goes for a takedown. Harris moves out of the way. Footwork, just light him up like Christmas tree. Stoppage for Harris, man.
This is an interesting fight. Brad Katona, Merab Dvalishvili. How do you see it going?
Man, I'm liking this fight. I'm looking for. I'll tell you what I've been impressed with, Brad. I think he's been impressive, man. I think he's got a lot of potential in him. He's still growing. My only kind of question about Dvalishvili is gas tank.
Yeah.
I found that he tires because he puts so much into it in the first round. I'm like, dude, you don't win 1 round out of 3 in a decision. You win 2 out of 3. He needs to just spread it out. Like, he puts a good effort in the first round and really stamps his mark. But I'm like, dude, where's the second and third, man? It takes a big drop in, the kind of output, and he's, questionable striking. But that's where Brad, I think, has probably a bit more variety in striking. But, man, I'm going to go Katona submission. I think that he has got a skill set there that can potentially cause Dvalishvili problems when Dash is going for those takedowns and trying to get on the ground. I think Katona's dangerous, not just for initiation on the takedowns. I think off his back as well. I think he can offer a lot of potential, maybe getting the back or, sweeps, etc. I think Dvalishvili's good. Don't get me wrong. Look, he's got Longo and Matt Serra's, BJJ and all that stuff. So dude knows what he's doing, but I think Katona in the second and third round could just see gaps in Dvalishvili where he's getting a bit tired, a little bit sloppy, leaving little gaps. And that's when Katona can strike. And I think that he might get this. I think I'm going to go... I was thinking with the striking, probably Katona favouring, but I'm going to go submission for Katona here. Maybe even the third round, but I think he's got a lot of potential to get that stoppage.
Yeah, this is, like I say, for this fight here, I'm really looking forward to... I like watching Dvalishvili. He's just like the Tasmanian devil, pretty much. He kind of comes forward. The guy gets some serious takedowns, and when you see a guy with good takedowns like that, you wonder why his top position's not great. His pressure on top. Because you've seen that the guy's strong, he's obviously got really good technique with his takedowns and so on, but his positioning on top isn't great. I think he's got 55 attempts at takedowns in 3 fights, which is the most in the UFC. Terry and Ware, who he beat, who got his first UFC win there, he had 5 takedowns, he had 6 to 1 against before that, he had 11. He managed to get 11 takedowns and still lose the fight, which is a little bit worrying. And that, I think he was on his way to beating Ricky Simone before that whole shenanigans of that fight where he looked like he'd won and then he went to sleep, then woke up, then went back to sleep again. It was such a funny...
That was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah. He said he was born in 1991. I don't believe that for a second either. I think he says he's 28 years old. I don't believe that.
28, my ass.
28, my ass. It's one of those kind of coming from Russia or Armenia or whatever, it's being younger than you say you are.
Yeah, exactly. It's doing your paper round in Afghanistan is what that is.
Yeah. His pressure's unbelievable. His striking is gash. His striking is not good.
He just swings.
I cannot believe his striking is really that bad.
I'd feel like Ray Longo would be like, nah, I'm not having this. It's crazy.
From the camp that he comes from,
you
would think that his striking would be fairly decent, and it's not good at all. No. He just looks to use that pace, power, pressure to get into takedowns, and he does get takedowns, but guys get back to their feet. And when you look at Katona, the couple of times that I've seen him down, he gets back to his feet very, very quickly, which is something that obviously is going to work well, because I think that Dvalishvili will get takedowns here, but will Katona get back to his feet after all those times? I think he might. Terry Weir's not his boxing, his striking is his main composition of his game. His takedown defense and isn't great. But Ricky Simone's a guy I actually really like and really rate, and he got him down 6 times. Like Ricky's like really squirrely on the ground, so he managed to get back to his feet. This is a tough one for me. I am going to go Merab Dvalishvili though. I actually like Katona. I think he's a really solid, super smart fighter. But I just think the pace, this be one of those fights where he's never faced a guy with this type of pressure before. Initially, I think that's how he's going to win this fight. So I'm going to go Merab, but he's in Canada, and I expect him to win the decision. So it has to be clear. If any of these rounds are close, you just know that it might kind of go Brad's way, even though he's kind of Irish. He's got an Irish accent now, so and he comes from the SBG, so they don't win many fights in the UFC nowadays. So yeah, he's the kind of exception to everything. So he might come in here and get himself another W. Super impressive from Katona. I like his all-around game, but I love the pressure of Merab. He's just one of those guys I really like his pressure, but it just baffles me how he gets so many takedowns in his position, and his strength on the ground is not as big considering with his takedowns and so on. But I'm going to go Merab to win a decision in Canada, so that's maybe a little bit far-fetched, but I'm going to go with it anyway, and we'll see. But moving on, this is a great fight. One of these fights where the UFC want to see where the young fighters are and where they're going to go, and if they can beat the kind of big name guys in the division. We've got Cub Swanson against Sugar Shane Burgos. Is it me to go? I think it is.
It is, bro, yeah.
Sorry, my head's up my backside. But good fight. I've seen a lot of people very super confident in Shane Burgos. I love Shane Burgos. I really like his style. I love his striking. Very crisp, very powerful. Mixes it up real well. I think his defense lacks a lot. He gets hit a lot, and that's not good in a division like 145 with some big hitters in there. But his output is really, really solid. It's something that I actually really, really like. I think he's going to be the bigger guy here. Like I said, he lands more, but he gets hit a lot more. And Cub Swanson, I think the thing that I see here, if Cub can come in, start off really well, land his strike, and get that confidence, because he's going to be low on confidence coming into this fight after a couple of losses. But in saying that, his losses are to
He's only losing to the top dudes, yeah.
Losing to top dudes. The one thing that really kind of put me off was his last fight against Moicano, was getting dropped with a jab. That was scary. In saying that, Moicano's got a great jab as well. Very powerful jab, and he got dropped by that. Somehow I managed to forget about the Brian Ortega loss there. I thought he lost 2 in a row. It was 3 in a row. So his last win was against Artem Lobov, the GOAT, a couple of years ago now. So he's not won a fight in a couple of years. But you look at his losses: Ortega, Edgar, Moicano, prolific top 5 guys in that division. So he's definitely taken a step back here. He's not got a ranked fighter. UFC definitely want to see what they've got with Shane Burgos. And he kind of scared me last night. I bet him last time against who was it? Kurt Holloway. And Holloway, he cracks hard. He
dropped him, yeah.
Big shots. And then he managed to kind of turn the tide around and win via submission via a really nice armbar. But he kind of had to take his licks in that first round. Been super impressed with him since he's come into the UFC. This entry, he opened as a fairly sizable underdog, and he's got bet up to a favourite now. But like I say, I've seen a lot of confidence in him. But I actually think Cub Swanson could outlast him in a decision here, maybe frustrate him a little bit, because he's got great hands himself. He just can't afford to get hit with a big shot. If he gets hit with a big shot, I think that Burgos could be all over him. That kind of changes the kind of stride of the fight, and it might go Burgos' way. But I'm going to go Cub Swanson actually to win via decision. He could also knock out someone like Shane Burgos because he gets hit a lot, but I think that's going to be a tough ask. I'll go Cub Swanson though for the upset.
It's going to be a fun fight, no matter what. This is stylistically, they're both kind of brash strikers. Mm-hmm. They like to put on an exhibition with their hands and feet. They like to show off what they can do standing. Burgos, for me, I know he's trying to roll with the punches a lot. I know he gets hit a bit too much, but he tries to roll with the punches. I just wish he would just manage his distance a little bit better, and he could evade some of those punches with just being out of range a little bit more. But Cub Swanson ain't cracking like he used to. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think Burgos could take a crack from Cub and be okay. It's a 3-round fight. Can Cub outstrike, like throw more of an output? Doesn't mean it has to hurt as much. But like you said, he got dropped by a jab. Shane's got a lethal jab. But also Shane's got a good cracking hand as well. So he can pop with both hands. And what I like about Shane is he hits those body shots. He hits it all. He just does it all. He's got lovely combinations. I'm going Shane on a decision. I think he will land a more hurtful shots on Cub. And I just feel for me, Cub, 35 years old, he had that opportunity where he could have got a title fight and it fell short with Frankie Edgar the first time they fought. And that, to me, because I was super high on Cub Swanson before that Frankie fight. I was like, dude's got it in the bag. He's going to be fighting for a title. This guy's kicking ass, taking names, going flying. And then I just watched Frankie just tear through him, just destroyed him. I was like, oh shit, he can't defend a takedown. And then all of a sudden, he came back a little bit of a little run. Last time was against Artem, big whoop, who cares? I just question now, where's our Cub going to go? Plus, he's been in the same training camp as TJ Dillashaw. Not saying he's using anything, but I'm just saying, got to be careful now. Don't want to be tarnished with that brush, Cub. But yeah, man, I'm going to go with Shane because I just think he'll want to come back and kind of right his wrongs from that Kurt Holloway fight because he did get caught a couple of times. But that armbar was slick, dude. Whoa, that armbar was slick. And the fact that Kurt had that Gracie tattoo on the back of his neck, on the back of his shoulder as well, a Gracie black belt. But I'm going to go Shane decision, bro. I think he might not land as many, but I think he'll have the more effective power. So there'll be more markings, more damage will be landed by Shane.
Okay, so we're up to the co-main event, and it's Derek Brunson taking on Elias Theodorou. How do you see the co-main event going?
Man, we pick against Elias a bit here often because he has a high output. And when I say high, I think on one of the fights he had over 200 strikes he threw, and he landed under 100. He has a crazy output because he's almost throwing fakes. But what he's doing is he's throwing punches to put you off your rhythm. Because it looks really crap, right? It does, right? Don't get me wrong. It looks awful. But it's annoyingly effective. Because what he's doing, he's throwing those strikes to stop you coming to close that gap. And it's putting you off your rhythm because you'll be walking down, ready to throw your punches. And then he'll just throw this front kick as he normally does, as you see the front kick, and a couple of punches, and then circles off. Well, he's done what he needs to. He stopped you wanting to engage. He's engaging on his terms when he wants to, and then he's disengaging, throwing those little strikes, and then walking away. It's annoying, but it works. Hence why he got the wins. But now he's being given Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson, who's he lost to? Now, he's not actually lost to the top dudes. When you look at who he loses to, he's losing to the guys who are top 5, top guys. Derek Brunson is we question Derek Brunson sometimes because he's got not the best fight IQ. Let's just put it that way. He does make silly decisions. But for me, this is a fight that Derek should be able to win. I think Derek has got, because he's not got a good fight IQ, he will charge down Elias and throw shots to land him. And that's what I think is going to happen. I think that he can close the distance, he can land the strikes, and he's strong. Derek is strong and big. He's a powerful dude. Look at the Yoel Romero fight him and had. It's a good example of what he can do with grappling and power and strength. When him and Yoel went, it was a good fight. It was a great fight, in fact. I think that was a really good fight. If you look back at that one, folks, I know it was a little while back, but the traits are still there. I'm going Derek Brunson on this one, mate. I think Derek Brunson can upset the apple cart for Elias, and I think he just won't care that Elias is throwing these little shots. I think he's just going to charge it down, land a hit, land the bombs, and it will go to like an underhook, overhook, grapple bout on the cage. and then it'll disengage, and Derrick's just going to charge it down. He's not going to stand for it, man. He's just going to go straight for it because he'll get too frustrated and just charge in a swing. And I think he'll land a more powerful shots. Kind of like the Santos fight, where eventually if you charge enough at Elias and throw it heavy enough, you will eventually break that offense that Elias is trying to do and break that rhythm up. So Derrick Brunson for me decision, but because Derrick's got because Elias got a head like a coconut and can take an absolute basting.
This is a rough fight for me to pick for the simple reason that I hate watching Elias Theodorou fights. I hate them, and I hate the fight IQ of Derrick Brunson and like how it just kind of goes out the window. Whether it's a fear thing, which it's maybe stupid to say, or what. But like, I think if he sit back a little bit and just take his time and just not rush in, and he shows his cards far too early for my liking. But he's not like he's facing like a dangerous power puncher.
He's not like a Robert Whittaker.
Yeah, he's. But like even like the Adesanya fight, he came out and just wanted to grapple. He did not want to exchange, and then eventually once Adesanya knew that you're not going to take me down, dude, I'm just going to beat you up. That's when his head kind of goes. In a fight like this, he's not going to be scared to engage with someone like Elias. What he has to do is cut the cage off, because Elias is just great at winning these decisions. Actually, I thought he won. He lost in Liverpool. I thought Trevor Smith was really unlucky not to win that fight. Even he said himself that he thought that fight was maybe going to go out of his grasp and he wasn't going to win that one. But he's one of those fighters that just looks great in the judges' eyes, and they give him a lot of fights through that. I thought it was a decent win over Eric Anders. Anders is tough. I don't think he'll ever really be a top 15 guy, but this is a rough fight for me to pick. It really is. It's in Canada, so if these rounds are close, the way Elias fights, they're going to give it to him. Not unless Derrick Brunson does something like super significant in the rounds, they're going to give it to Elias. I think Brunson's path to a win here is through his grappling. I think if he can use that and use his power, he can most definitely take Elias down, but I don't think he'll be able to kind of keep him there for a long amount of time, which is something that Elias is pretty good. Once he gets taken down, he gets back to his feet fairly sharpish. And this is rough because I've got a funny feeling that Elias is going to get one of these silly decisions. But for me, Derrick Brunson. I think what I was thinking actually there was like Derrick Brunson can get takedowns. I think that's definitely a path to victory for him, is that and using that. I think what happened was he fell in love with his hands because he was getting so many knockouts. He knocked out Herman, Alvey, Ducau, Uriah Hall, Dan Kelly, that his kind of grappling left him. And the fight I always remember is him taking down Yoel Romero.
Yeah.
When that fight, I think he was up 2 rounds, but then he gets knocked out in the third.
That was a crazy fight.
Yeah, it was. I'm going to pick Derrick Brunson as well. Like I said, I'm not overly a fan of either guy, but this either screams to me shitty split decision for Elias, or Derrick Brunson wins through takedowns, potential ground and pound. I'm going to pick Derrick Brunson via stoppage. I think he stops Elias with big ground and pound here. It's a rough fight to pick a win on that one, especially in Canada. Co-main event. Main event of the night. Raging Al Iaquinta, the cowboy, the original cowboy, Donald Cerrone, in a big fight in the shake-up of this kind of lightweight division because
big time.
I think Poirier is going to fight Khabib in Abu Dhabi in September by the looks of things.
Yeah, that's been done,
which is pretty awesome. The UFC are kind of going back into the Abu Dhabi kind of territory again.
Dollar bills, y'all. That's all that money, mate. They're making.
I think it's 5 years they're saying as well.
Yeah.
So
a ton of money's made for them. That's all it's about. That's all going to the fighters, by the way.
Yeah, of course it is. Great fight. Really like this fight. This is kind of could be an absolute barn burner. Like Al Iaquinta slings a massive right hand. Really, really, really solid fighter. I don't think he's. When I look at it, I've seen people say this, like, he's a top 5 guy, and I think he's ranked number 5. So under that aspect, you have to say he's a top 5 guy. When I look at it, and I've always looked at that, I was like, for me, he's not. And I know he's got some decent wins in his record. I mean, Masvidal, he beat Kevin Lee, which I thought was actually a really good, solid, professional performance. Gave a fairly decent account of himself against Khabib. He's facing someone in the Cowboy here who I couldn't believe that he was an underdog against Alexander Hernandez, and I took some shit for picking him earlier on in the year, and especially Donald Cerrone at underdog odds is always a good bet, because when he's not facing champions or so on, he's like he wins a shit ton of fights, and he doesn't lose to bad guys. I mean, look at his losses: Till, Robbie Lawler, Leon Edwards, solid fighters who are all ranked highly in their division or have been up a division as well. He, in my opinion, is close to a top 5 guy. So that you put him in there over any kind of year, he's going to be a top 5 guy. He's going to give some of the top guys fits. Maybe he doesn't beat them, but he's a tough fight for anybody. There's not one guy that goes into a fight with Cowboy thinking they're going to get an easy fight. It doesn't happen. Saying that, Masvidal thought that, and he went in there and starched him, but he's got those quick combination hands that you can hurt someone like Cowboy, and he mixes it up by going to the body. I'm just wondering what Al's kind of game plan is going to be. If he's going to strike, I think someone like Cowboy can break him down with kicks. And if Cowboy doesn't get caught with a big shot, then he will start to break down someone like Al Iaquinta. Then if Al goes to his wrestling, which he's predominantly a wrestler anyway, like, Cowboy's a good wrestler. And he's got really good jiu-jitsu as well. He's got very, very dangerous jiu-jitsu. And if you make the mistake of leaving something in there, or being like Mike Perry and just being stupid and initiating another takedown when you're back on your feet, then you're going to lose. Most of the time, you're going to lose against someone like Cowboy, because even if you take him down, you don't really stifle him. He will get back to his feet, and then back on the feet, I think he's always kind of got a very good chance to win in the fight. Like I said, I find it really tough, but I'm siding with Cowboy in this one. I think that he's just going to see. I'm going to go with Cowboy because that was my gut feeling when I heard about this matchup. I can see Al maybe potentially knocking him out, but I think Cowboy's just going to outlast him. I think he's going to bust up his legs. I think he's just going to bust him up. I'm going to pick Cowboy.
I'm going to go opposite, and I'm going to go Al. I think the pair of them are too tough for their own good. In a good way. Cerrone's on like a mini resurgence again, but that, dropping down to 155, he's not getting any younger. Let's see how it goes for him. 5-round fight against a guy like Al, who Al, to his credit, is tough. And I think that Khabib fight really showed something, like, because I didn't write Al off in many ways, but when he started talking about the retail stuff and selling houses and, being a estate agent and that stuff, kind of going that way, I kind of went, well, how much of him is invested in the sport? I know he had to do it to make money, to make ends meet, because obviously even the UFC level, you paid pittance compared to what you should be paid, but that's a whole other subject. But I think that fight against Khabib, man, like, he could have just went in there and just got out. Do you know what I mean? He could have gone in the first, second, third round, and no one would have beaten an eye to it. No one would have cared. But he was like a kryptonite Khabib. Khabib just couldn't get rid of him. Just couldn't stop what was coming at him. Al was just, let's keep going, Mov. And, like, to be fair, Al wasn't doing a 5-round fight, but he was ready for a 3-round fight. So then he steps in a 3-round. I was uber impressed by Al's kind of performance, mental attitude, and like you said, he came back and he's just been, man, like a man possessed. It's strange. It's like, and I think against Donald Cerrone, with your wrestling, be smart with your wrestling. Don't, take him down against the cage only. Keep him pinned to the cage. Keep the short shot. Don't do anything crazy. Cerrone's got a good triangle, land a couple of shots, and maybe disengage and get back up again. Just keep it tight. Don't let Cerrone get space. You let Cerrone get space, that's when he throws his head kicks. That's when he throws them. If you're Iaquinta, just come forward, stop throwing at Cowboy, because Cowboy's there to get rocked. He's been rocked a few times. He's been finished. It's there. It is open. I just think Al's got some. He's just got that nasty side to him, man. He is a really nasty guy. And one stoppage that sticks out to me always is the Ross Pearson one. I'm pretty sure it was Ross Pearson. No. It wasn't just no. It was Lozon. Remember Lozon one? When Lozon just was too tough for his own good, staying standing, and he was just pelting him and he just didn't care. And that's a nasty streak in him. And I was like, ooh, that says something to me. That. So I'm going Iaquinta. I'm going potential decision as well. I just think Al can just be dirty enough to hurt Cerrone enough to get the win.
Okay, so that is that for this week. Like I say, bets wise, I've got nothing yet. Like I said, I find this a tricky week, if I'm being honest with you. Like I say, I should probably bet someone like Cowboy if I'm picking him, because the last two times he has been underdogs. He has been underdog against Mike Perry and Alexander Hernandez. He's came through for me. So,
what's the odds for Elias Theodorou decision?
I don't know if there any props out. Let me see. No, there actually is. Oh. Elias by decision plus 130. So yeah, potential, but like I said, I'm not going to be betting that fight. That might be one of those fights I put on like ×2 and watch it go really fast and get through it pretty much. So yeah, like I say, I'm kind of intrigued by Cub Swanson. He's a plus 150 dog, but he's got a tough fight. Interested in Andrew Sanchez. Who else? Matt Sayles, I think, is a parlay piece, but I'm struggling for parlay pieces in this card. So, like I say, it's a really tough card, unless you see something you really like.
What about Matt Sayles match with Macy? No? Or those odds not good enough?
Well, she's minus 700, so she's a
mass. What? 700?
She's mass. It's probably justified.
Yeah, but geez.
Maybe it shouldn't be justified in your second fight or third fight in the UFC, but she should run through Sarah Moras pretty convincingly. Yeah, tough fight card. It really is. It's a tough card for me, just looking at it betting wise. I don't know where I'm going to go. I've got a couple of days to really look into it and see if
what's Harris and what's Harris on?
Minus 160. That's one I do like, but then it's like betting with Harris, so I'm like a little bit. You never know. He could be winning 2 rounds, and then a minute for winning the fight, he like gets himself disqualified for something. So yeah, it's a rough fight for. Rough fight card for me for betting. That might change over the next day or two when I see something I like, but I'm not one of these guys for kind of rushing in and betting straight off. I usually kind of leave it for later in the week. So yeah, so that's our predictions for UFC Ottawa. We're going to be back later in the week for UFC 237, I think it is, isn't it?
I'm sure it's 37,
yeah. From Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, where we've got Rose Namajunas defending.
Rose!
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen Rose. She faces off with Andrade. You've obviously got Anderson Silva on there in the co-main event. Don't know how that's ahead of freaking Aldo and Volkanovski.
Oh, I don't have. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Nice fight poster. Don't get me wrong, though. But
yeah, I actually do like that one for a change.
Yeah. Alves against Starpoli.
Yeah, against Ferreira. That's BJ Penn against Clay Guida, which is
no thanks. I'm surprised, but whatever.
Yeah, Riano Barcelos against Said Nurmagomedov. Oh, that's one of the better fights in the card. And it's on Fight Pass as well.
Oh my word, it is, yeah. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, it's a couple of good fights on there that you can keep an eye on. But until next week, like, comment, subscribe. If you've got bets, if you've got your own picks, let us know. If you agree with some of our picks, let us know as well. But until later on in the week, we'll see you on. Maybe early next week it'll be out, sorry. Until then, all the best. Enjoy the card when it comes around this Saturday from beautiful Canada, eh?